Howdy y'all, I'm Jacob and welcome back to the ranch. It's been a busy morning of driving as we took a quick trip, relatively quick, trip out to Gulfweight to pick up a new ram for the sheep herd. And if I didn't know any better, I'd say he wasn't very happy about it. It took us a while, but we were finally able to find a white-headed Dorper ram to go in with our ewes to hopefully get breeding season started as we're a little behind schedule. But thankfully we were able to find somebody outside of the sale barn that we could pick up a pretty healthy ram from, and I think he's going to fit in pretty nicely. We're only a little ways out from the house, so I'll check back in with y'all once we get back to the ranch. Alrighty, back at the house now.
Dixie, stop barking.
Alrighty, back at the house, and we made it in one piece. You wanna see your ladies, bud? Alright, I gotta get pins set up, get some gates moved. Let's see if we can get him out of that trailer. Alrighty, I think I've got the pins set up so I can run him in here and keep him contained for the afternoon. He does not have experience with electric fencing, so I've talked about it before, but I'm gonna run him up in these pins and we'll hold him here and use the pins to get him trained so that he can go out with a flock and get to work. Alright, let's see if I can finish backing this trailer up without running over anything. Not go to the fence. Good boy. I don't think that could have gone better. Come on, keep going. Shh, shh. Turn around, turn around. There you go. Take your time, keep going. I think his legs are a little shaky from the ride. You know, that's probably a good spot. Stay in there. Let me get the trailer put up and then we'll come back and take a look at him. Well, I don't think it was on camera, but he's already touched the fence once. Hopefully he'll learn not to do it. Alright, I want to see if I can get him some food and water. I can get him bed down for the afternoon. Alright, pup, you want to come see the new visitor? I guess he's not really a visitor, but new addition maybe. Come on, come check him out. It's alright, buddy. She's mostly harmless. Alright. Food and water. Alright, bud. Here's some water. Grab you some hay. Got a handful of treats. I'm going to see if I can get a little closer to him. You want to come check this out, bud? Yeah, he's not real sure about me. Alright, I got one more trick to try. So his previous owners mentioned that he's got a massive sweet tooth. And we just so happen to keep a large supply of these for Laura's ponies. Whatever y'all do, don't tell boss lady I stole one. Let's see if it'll work. Well, I think he's still just a little too unsure of me. But if he's not going to eat it, I am. Well, I got some other things to go knock out. So I'm going to leave him here and let him settle in. I've got the back side of the pens opened up so the flock can come in here and meet him, as well as the calves. Although I don't see them right now, so I'm kind of concerned where they're at. Alright, I'm going to let him settle in. We'll check back in with him this evening. Okay, I take it back. Paranoia won't let me leave it alone. I gotta come out here and make sure the calves are still here. It's not like we didn't have one show up somewhere he wasn't supposed to the other day. Sure glad that portable hay feeder is good for something. Might as well check on them too. Yep, they're looking good. If you're having questions about this 18-wheeler tire laying out here, it's another one of the benefits of living next to the highway. We're a good 150 yards away from the road, and that thing came off an 18-wheeler and rolled all the way up here. Thankfully, it didn't do too much damage and didn't hit anything on the way up here, so it stays out here and the calves push it around as a toy. Alright, let's see if we can find them. Probably can't tell it from your perspective, but the base of the cedar tree up there where the sheep are headed, I can see the calves are laying down. Alright, so that problem's fixed. I'm going to head off and take care of some stuff, and I'll check it back in with y'all this evening. Well, it's the next morning. Got home a little late last night to get any filming done, but I was able to get the sheep in here in the pens, even though they were separated from Hercules. So I'm going to jump in here real quick and see if he's settled down any. He ate the cookies I left in here for him yesterday. He's still a little unsure. Should have brought some treats. Yeah, you think so too? Probably able to tell, but it's a much cloudier day than yesterday. And we're supposed to be getting a lot of rain this afternoon. Talked last week about we were supposed to be getting rain over Wednesday and then this weekend. And we ended up getting about a quarter inch Wednesday, which I'm happy for, but I don't think it's going to be enough to get those seedlings going like I need them to. But we're supposed to be getting a lot more today, so we'll see. With that, I want to get these pens opened up so that he can get in, at least get a little bit of shelter if he needs it. And I'm sure he'd like to get with the girls too, so see if we can't make that happen. Alright, buddy, look out. I'll be right back. Come on, Dixie. Come on. Dixie. Dixie. Come on. Come on, pup. That's a good girl. You're just too excited right now.
You gotta calm down. You gotta calm down. You gotta calm down. Come on. Look out.
I'm gonna try and see if I can get everybody over close to him and pin them up first. But they may not cooperate. Yep, go that way. Go that way. Good sheep. Okay, I have the more secure area enclosed. I want to get him out and get him with the flock and try and keep it in a controlled manner so he's got limited access to the electric, at least for initially. At least initially? I really can't talk. Alright, ladies. Look out. Look out. Little lamb sure is looking good. Alright, buddy. You're free to go. And he's in with them. Really didn't take much convincing. Alright, I want to see if I can work around them and get them back in the main area. He's not wasting any time. Come on, sheep. Come on, sheep. Go that way. There you go. Come on. Come on. Go with the others. Come on. There you go. And the flock's officially together. And I guess with that, the breeding season for the sheep is kicked off. Yep, wasting no time. When we were initially looking at this, I wanted to try and aim for having the sheep and the goats lambing and kidding as close as I could. And I think we put techs out with the goats a little over 30 days ago, maybe. So lambing and kidding is going to be spread out, but it's not going to be too bad, I don't think. Famous last words, right? Alright, I'm going to leave him in here. I've still got the corrals locked down to the more secure areas. On the backside where all the shelters are, there's one fence line that's all electric, and I was going to keep them away from that just a little bit longer. But we do have storms coming in, so I want them to be able to get back to those shelters if they need them when those storms get here. But I'm going to leave them right here for right now, and we need to go get the goats moved. So that's going to be fun. Well, a little bit of a change of plans. So we ended up not moving the trailer, and we just opened up this area. That should last them for a few more days and give me at least a little more time to figure out what we're going to be doing for their shelter this winter. So some of my concerns is, or not really concerns, but what I wanted to do for this winter is try and keep the herd out on pasture as much as I possibly can. But in order to do that, I need a shelter that's going to be able to keep moisture off of them when it gets cold and rains or snows. So what I was kind of thinking is maybe taking the trailer and parking it out in the center of the field. Probably out in the center of the field somewhere. I can use the electric line on the reels that we've been training them to either rotate the pasture that they're having access to, or I may end up just lining the perimeter of this entire lower pasture and letting them have access to it, and then just move hay bales around if I bring those out to supplement their feed. So I'm still kind of playing with ideas and trying to figure out what's going to be a good way to keep shelter for them whenever the weather gets really bad. Because at some point I'm going to have to put tarps or something to close off the open space in that trailer, because it's not exactly watertight. The biggest thing is you want to be able to keep them dry and keep them out of the wind whenever the weather turns really bad, to keep anybody from getting sick. Which, one of the nice things, and was why we changed up our breeding this year, is that I didn't want to have to deal with kids through the winter, because we've had a couple bad winters where we lost a significant number of our kids due to the cold and from the herd trampling them whenever they would try and get into shelter and get warm. So still playing with some ideas, trying to figure out what exactly we're going to do this year, keep the herd safe. One other thing I want to show you. So when we first moved them back here, this area was fairly thick in grass. And as you can see, they've done a really good job of taking it down. And now most of this grass is dormant, so I'm not real concerned with them taking a lot of leaf area, because next spring this stuff should pop back up pretty well. Alright, this group's looking good. I'm gonna jump back in the tractor, head back up to the house. Well, he seems pretty much at home. Deer Light today's already trying to get to work. Alright, I'm gonna jump in here and see if I can open up the back portion of the pens. Maybe I won't freak them out too much. Look out, sheeps. Alright, so now they'll be able to get up here and get into the shelter once it starts raining. And this is the fence portion I was talking about. So this line right here is all electric. And I'm hoping he's had enough experience with it so far that he's not going to mess with it. So I'm going to run in here and see if I can get him back into this area real quick. Man, that lamb sure is growing like a weed. That sure is nice to see. Go straight, go straight. Now y'all leave that fence alone. I'm not overly concerned about them being back here, because even if they do make it through this fence, there's 3 or 4 more that they'll have to make it through to end up anywhere they don't need to be. So this is a good spot for them to, well, for him to get a little more training in. And I bet you, since the ladies are trained to it, that he won't mess with it too much. He's gonna want to stay with them. Alright, I got a couple more things to knock out before the storm gets here, so I'm gonna leave them alone for a little bit longer and check back in with them here in a minute. You know, that's why we can't have nice things. Well, y'all, time has really gotten away from me over the past few days as we've worked to get ready for the holiday and trying to knock out quite a few projects along the way. But thankfully, Hercules has fit right in. We haven't had any issues at all. I think he's a pretty quick learner and only touched a fence a couple times and hasn't gotten anywhere near it since then. He's doing really good about staying with his ladies and making sure that breeding work gets done. Mentioned a little bit earlier that we were expecting a storm, and we did end up getting a fair amount of rain over the 2 or 3 days that we had rain last week. And we ended up with about 1 2/10 of an inch. So really hoping that helps get those seeds started in the lower pasture. I'll definitely keep y'all updated on how that goes, and I'm still trying to put a plan together for that mobile shelter for winter. So if y'all have any ideas on that, put them down in the comments. Hopefully we'll figure something out before the cold and rain really sets in. Well, y'all, as it is with a lot of things, I'm late for Thanksgiving, so I think I'm going to leave the video here. Laura and I would like to wish all of y'all a happy and safe Thanksgiving, and thank y'all for tagging along. And we hope to see you next time on Wag Ranch. Why are y'all messing with my gate? You a bunch of troublemakers.